Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the KeSPA Cup. And no, that was not an error on your screen. It was KeG taking game number 1. And it was because of plays like this, with DAMWON going completely ridiculous on the Akali.
And on balance, it was because of their good plays more so than enemy mistakes. Now, there were some good news things for DAMWON. Their laning especially was very strong, but execution from Showmaker on Engage couldn't really leverage the Aftershock Lissandra for any meaningful ways. And then KeG made some super plays around team fights that meant they were just slightly too good for the side of DAMWON Gaming. Still a very well-deserved first game victory. I think a 2-0 for them is looking tricky, but whatever happens from here, the statements continue to be sent by these KeG trainees. And DAMWON Gaming, a lot to live up to based on their pre-series and pre-tournament expectations, given the whispers of scrims in the last few months.
Yeah, and I feel like when it came to the plays that were certainly coachable, it looked like DAMWON had all of it covered. Their vision control around Baron, their ability to take neutral objectives safely and cleanly, especially in the late game, was very, very strong. However, I feel like adaptation and just control in the moment was certainly there from KeG. That was what was very impressive. Of course, Ezreal damage is busted. That's just a thing, but 33k is nothing to scoff at. And the winning team, with so much less damage available to them, just showed that in the right times, they were doing what counted.
Concern for DAMWON is, feels like every game they've played so far in the KeSPA Cup, you want to point your finger at someone. It's Nuclear in the games last time out,
yeah.
Showmaker in this game. So not really getting 5 performances on the same day, on the same match, which they really do need, even against KeG Seoul. Very much a non-LCK team. Seeing one roster change. Canyon will keep his spot. Definitely was not as good as his first Kha'Zix game on his second one, but Beryl out, and like you were calling for, Hoyt, the currently ranked 4 solo queue player in Challenger, is coming back in. He could just be back on the Alistar that he played in the first series. It was all about the promotion tournament Alistar for him, but nice to see him back. He certainly is a very mechanically talented support player.
And an absolutely fantastic Rakan player as well. So taking that away from Pop, maybe giving it over to Hoyt, does make some sense to me in my mind. But I find it interesting that the old bottom lane is actually just subbing in for one another for this team. Of course, I think that was back when they were called Mirage and not necessarily DAMWON Gaming until more recently.
That's right. Beryl and Hoyt were a bot lane duo. Hoyt was the AD carry, so just like Core JJ, that was a pretty good role swap. We'll see if Hoyt can follow in the footsteps there.
Actually, I think it was Beryl.
Might be the other way around, but regardless, it's all about the role swaps and the support role, and we need as many good supports as we can, with some big names like Gorilla.
Yeah, I think so too.
And Core JJ leaving the country. Coach Kim Jung-soo, first loss on DAMWON Gaming in that previous game. We'll see how things come together in this second game pick and ban, because I imagine Akali going to be on the sidelines looking in for game number 2.
Yeah, and certainly still looking pretty calm on the side of DAMWON Gaming as well. So we are going to have pick and ban upon us right now. Game number 2, can DAMWON turn it all around? That is the question, and we were posing this question. Akali, bye-bye.
A fond wave to top main, better known as Doran's Akali. His most played in solo queue over 110 games, and on his main, he has looked very, very fearsome. 2-0 on that pick. It's actually the highest win rate champion in KeSPA Cup. 5-1 is Akali this tournament, even though we're on the live patch where the Shroud change came in and she's a bit more predictable when trying to juke with that ability. Speaking of predictability, DAMWON going to ban away Gumayusi's Caitlyn once again in game number 2, and keeping the Flex Assassins away from Doran and Plex is the order of business, at least in round 1.
Well, Cass Camille and Aatrox going to be banned away here, and the one that's really standing out to me is the Galio. And for Showmaker to pick that one away from Plex makes a lot of sense in multiple different ways. So first pick Galio to come in here from DAMWON Gaming.
Another Aftershock mid laner for Showmaker. Left a lot to be desired in the previous game on Lissandra, but his Galio game on their debut against Brion Blade was very, very good. Had huge AP totals, was chunking people down with that nice AP ratio on the Q. So does now have the ability to combo it with the Kha'Zix, the old favorite, the mid lane Galio, the jungle Kha'Zix that KT Roll still love to play with Score. Getting a big number down on the enemy jungler is going to be recreated the same jungle matchup as well, with Kha'Zix versus the Lee Sin. Canyon going to want to have a better performance in game number 2. And I got to say, DAMWON Gaming, tier list-wise, has the dream trio in the first round.
This is real scary looking, but Pop, thinking about taking away the Alistar here certainly was more of a huge pick for Beryl. His Alistar looked so extraordinarily good in Game 2 of their first match, but Hoyt also a player that does like the Alistar a lot, as the next ban phase is now upon us.
So what do we see when it comes to bans in the second round? They're actually
like this
going
one.
to, like you mentioned, respect Hoyt's Rakan. Pop is going to be on the Alistar this time. They've taken away the Alistar that DAMWON Gaming supports have both preferred. Banned away the Rakan. Could even ban Thresh if they want, even though Alistar's a very comfortable laning matchup. Into that's another playmaker removed. Do you ban away a top lane? Do you ban away Sion when you already have the Urgot locked in? Is a question you might want to ask the side of DAMWON Gaming. We'll need an answer for this top lane Urgot, and a lot of the usual picks are being taken away. Well, Ezreal banned away, so another Gumayusi favorite is banned.
See where he goes afterwards. We'll be seeing a new champion from him, I believe.
Yep. Caitlyn, Lucian, Ezreal, the three that he's played, and they do ban away the Thresh to remove true initiation options, because Galio is much more follow-up initiate, and thus Kha'Zix leaping into the team fight. He'll get popped pretty fast with there being no more free resists for the target that is hit by the hero's entrance, so it's very tricky for him to engage. They really want to find engagement somewhere else. Again, that Sion, I think, will be the choice for Noguri in the top lane. Let's see what KeG want to do. A solo laner and a bot laner, probably an AD carry, required for the side of KeG. This could be bot lane Victor. It's a nice flex draft as well, because it could just be the E-Evolve mid lane Victor, or it could be the bot lane Victor wave carry against Lucian. I'm actually with the latter. I think it's going to be the bot lane, just based on the matchup and the fact there's not so many viable matchups into Lucian with so much off the board. But we'll get more information about that later. What did DAMWON Gaming make of these final two picks?
Well, the Rise being picked up here from Noguri is absolutely fantastic. His sort of breakout carry performance was on the Flame Horizon Rise, carrying them through a losing game in Game 1.
He's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. We know this matchup can go well. Source slammed Urgot in the Rise versus Urgot matchup yesterday. But he also kind of has to be the conduit for the hero's entrance, because they don't really have an initiator here. Again, we already mentioned it. Kha'Zix, especially in the late game, will just get blown up without 30% armor and MR or damage resistance like before. So Rise kind of needs to do the lane and teamfight thing to make this comp work. Still a lot of early power, and definitely could just run over the side of KeG with a favorable early game. So win lane, win game thing definitely happening from DAMWON Gaming. The Victor could be flexed. They wait to the final moment. They're going to go for Xayah. Again, I believe second Xayah maybe, or third Xayah we've had.
I think it's the third. We know
tournament.
that Ruler certainly made Xayah look pretty busted yesterday.
The Xayah Rakan was god tier yesterday from Genji. Go back and watch Life and Ruler popping off on that duo. Going to be Xayah and Alistar this time. And we do get the Victor, but let's wait and see where this Urgot and when this Victor ends up. We'll know at 20 seconds into the draft.
Yeah, of course. Not entirely sure where the matchups really want to be going as far as getting the favorable options are. It's looking like mid lane matchup on the top side and potentially more of a top lane matchup in the mid lane as two tanks battling it out against each other.
UCAL style then is the decision. We saw this, of course, in the LCK Summer Final. The last time you and I cast was a lot of mid lane Urgot in that particular one. Victor, after the E-Evolve changes and Galio having some wave clear removed, could have shoved Galio for a moment, kind of around the 1150 gold back timing where you get that first Hex score, but Urgot can also do a lot of interesting things around the mid lane, and all the resists that Galio picks up from the taunt not going to be so important if that ultimate gets him into the execute range. So Victor top lane versus the Rise. A lot of poke damage, but two very squishy top laners that Lee Sin and Kha'Zix are going to be very interested in visiting. And in the mid lane, always a potential for a kill here when it's Galio and Urgot, two shorter range champions as well.
I just feel like this game, it's going to be so much easier for DAMWON to play around good vision and good control. When you've got a Galio, you can just park him somewhere relatively close to someone who's going to be face checking and trying to go and get that vision, and then he can just jump in on top. You're not going to have Showmaker botching up his potential flanking plays this time around on a Galio. And the Q just does way too much damage now.
It definitely does a lot of damage to champions in the late game, but let's wait and see. DAMWON have played 3 times. 2 of the times they looked pretty bad. They ended up winning one with 2 fortunate Baron steals, and then they lost deservedly to KeG Seoul in game number 1. They've had 1 strong performance in 3. It feels like the guarantees about where this series are going are further and further slipping away, and the expectation from DAMWON, it feels like DAMWON are much more now back down to earth. The balloon has been popped a little bit. It feels a bit like they're now, okay, a newly promoted Challenger team. It doesn't feel like they are world-beating team that was stuck in Challenger, which Griffin evolved into. But we never gave Griffin the benefit of the doubt till we saw. We said this was their win rate.
Oh, they were climbing the ladder the whole time, if you remember their first run through.
And that's something I think is really important for us as casters. It's so easy to buy into hype, right? Because we're the most in tune. A lot of you guys are diehards watching these games on Christmas Day in a bad time zone. We're casting it. We have to know so much. We watch the same streams. We're just as involved. We want to see a new team come out and break out just like Griffin did. But it's much better to let them earn the hype and then let the fans do the talking. Let the results on the Rift do the talking. And that's what Griffin were able to do as they took down. I mean, wasn't it so fortunate that they had that motley crew of the best teams at
They
the
were
end
literally
of the
climbing up the staircase to get themselves
so you beat
through the
Jin
first
Air.
round robin.
But what about this team? Oh, you beat them. But what about Kingzone? That was the hype thing about how Griffin's story played out. And that's why I was really skeptical when everyone was already just giving it over. They were given the presents, like you did, Atlas. Beautiful present. It's us casting in 2015. They were kind of being given the presents too early. They were spending it before they'd earned it with the, well, they're winning scrims, well, they're going to be a top 3 team. I need to see it. I always need to see it because then I want to savor it, you know? I want to be, oh, that was the run. And now you can never take away Griffin's run. You can never take away. They earned everything. But with DAMWON Gaming, they have to re-earn it from me. And I think a lot of the fans, they would have picked up some neutrals with Showmaker being a Katarina one trick and things like that. They're very easy to love, but they've still got work to do coming together.
Well, you can love them. You just don't need to necessarily have complete faith that they're going to topple every team in every
Come on,
we're
from
league,
sports
right?
fandom. You got to love them and think they're going to win every time. That's how it goes. One-eyed fans only.
I don't know. I mean, I was a fan of Chinese League of Legends in 2015, so that's not how it feels for me.
LPL won LPL every time.
They did. But in 2015, that was about it. No, MSI. We won MSI. That's what I hang my hat on every single time.
Yep. Well.
Oh, God, I don't know.
I was still LPL for that. I left right after MSI.
Yeah, you did. You were like, well, this is not the region
I'm
for
done
me
now.
anymore.
Goodbye.
Yeah, this is actually, it comes back to your exact point, which was we just want the winning, you know?
But
whereas I stayed.
Why didn't I defect to LPL last year? Then I would have kept my streak, you know?
Hey, we don't know yet. You know, it's not even 2019 yet.
But
is Papa even going to stay?
Oh, that's true. We are not officially announced for anything. Who knows if we'll be there for LCK. We know these teams will be there. At least one of them will. DAMWON Gaming will be there, and SK Telecom T1. In our second series, here's what I'll say about KeG. Again, we know after this tournament they will no longer exist as a 5-man roster. Yeah. We will see all 5 of these players in the LCK at some point. Will it be when it's ripe, you know, in 1 year's time? Will it be down the track? We don't know the answer to that, but the talent here is undeniable. Feels like the only forgotten name was Pop, the support. He's a bit of an older player, 20 years old. He hasn't already debuted in the LCK. I saw that Rakan game. I think they saw that Rakan game as well. So I think Pop will have a chance as well.
Yep. Well, you can purchase your tickets, guys, for the finals here when we move over to the Africa studio here at the Actors Arena.
They're really excited about it.
Yeah, we got some real excitement going on behind us. The first time here in Korea that I've had a lot of yelling going on behind me.
The booths are gone.
You were talking about the fact that it's confusing. With no booths, it is definitely a very weird experience. Last time I had it, they were yelling Australian slang at each other. So
how many of those words can you say on this broadcast without getting us thrown away?
Oh, about 2%, probably. But we are
saved by the bell
towards the game, guys. Of course, can't have a coach's interview if you don't have a coach. As here we go. DAMWON on our blue side, grouping up yet again. So we've had some feisty level ones to start both of these games, but nothing to really come of it on either side.
A lot of the feisty action might be in the top lane because Rise Kha'Zix jumping on to a Victor means his life will be vacated very quickly.
Yes.
We said the same thing when we had a similar set. I believe it was Rise Kha'Zix against Rumble top lane, and we saw some very good restraint played by the Rumble player in that series. I think Victor, especially before he has his movement speed from his Q evolve or his ability to just laser the minion wave and walk away, is going to have to be really tricky. I feel like before that first item purchase, before that first Hex core, Victor's positioning is going to have to be super on point. Otherwise, he could die multiple times in the laning phase, and we won't even be surprised.
Yeah, it's thankfully not a Camille on the side of DAMWON Gaming this time around. That hookshot plus the Rune Prison combo is pretty gross. There's Disdain used by Plex here just to try and get through this harass to start off this laning phase, but Urgot versus Galio. Seems certainly like two big brutes trying to bash each other, but like we were talking about, Winds of War, I mean, I know it's all about the scaling with this this ability as far as it being busted, but even rank 1, it's doing some silly damage here.
It's just very different, right? The problem with Urgot is he has a large model, so he can't actually sidestep the, the arching winds on the sides there where all the damage is loaded. The gust does a lot of damage rather than the explosion in the middle. So getting hit by both sides of it, as you say, even at level 1, is a lot of flat damage, and then again you linger in the AoE because you're a short-range champion. It's not trivial for Plex to stay full health and topped up. He's already used a Corrupting Potion charge 2 minutes into the laning phase, which is not often very common against a Gallia. But bot lane, double ranged against Alistair Zaya, you're feeling really good if you're Nuclear and Hoyt. And Nuclear had a great game 1 to play off, so they're definitely expecting priority in the bot lane. The top lane's a bit more unexplored. My read is pre-1 item, Victor can just be annoying from range, but once Ryze can look for aggressive trades and then use his shield to shrug off the damage returned from Victor, could be some out-trading by Ryze over time. So in my mind, it's an outscale matchup for Ryze, but it's a pretty unexplored double mage top lane.
And I feel like it could actually go either way, depending on who's going to be able to get those aggressive trades earlier, because, of course, Doran can play around his shield as well. It's who can have control there as a Disdain. That was a cute interaction. Now Showmaker in trouble, going to get the flash out, but it's not enough, as Canyon has to leap his way to safety. Only level 3, nothing he can do, and first blood going over to KeG already.
Damn, it comes in early. Doesn't matter that he was chunking down Corrupting Potions. He gets to go back with 400 Gs shopped up. His family's getting Christmas presents today, Atlas, as we're going to watch the replay. This is all about timings, and guess who wins in the dash charge? No justice for the Justice Punch.
Nope.
It's all about that E coming in from
now
the
I know why it's called Disdain. It was how Showmaker reacted to that interaction.
Yeah, but it's only Disdain for the enemy. Plex was ecstatic about how that worked. It's always fun seeing some of the...
He was giving him the Disdain.
Whenever you see those overriding animations, you always sit back and laugh, but it was definitely only the KeG fans laughing on that one.
Oh, yes. And Elim going to continue having a pretty great game. Here in game number 2, First Drake is going to be the Mountain this time around, so wanting to get the shove on for either of these teams will be a little bit easier. They can grab that one, especially for First Mountain.
Reason why I give Ryze a bit more credit going forward with kind of an item equivalence between the two is that Victor, if he goes for kind of the old school build, which was the Iceborne Gauntlet, Abyssal Mask, very tanky Victor, he loses out a lot because a lot of damage was loaded into AP scalings after the change, just to nerf that build directly. And also, that's about burst trades, right? It's, you can't catch up with me. I did 400 damage and took 0. Ryze has the root and has more standing DPS because he's always been known as that machine gun mage. I think Ryze will always outtrade after items, but his squishiness counts against him early. He's not going to be ganked. We know right now that Canyon is topside. So every CS Noguri gets, I think there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to the 1v1 matchup between the Ryze and the Victor.
Well, at the moment, Doran staying relatively safe, has the Tri-Brush ward there as Gravity Field not going to get himself the stun, but he's going to keep himself out of range. And I think Gravity Field is going to be probably more important than in most matchups because of the Ryze's wanton ability to stand there and deliver, like you were saying with the Machine Gun Mage situation.
It's Ryan not going for this New Age Aftershock Ryze we saw a couple of times yesterday, and going for the Phase Rush is just needed.
Yeah, because you have to get out of that Gravity Field.
Got to walk out of the Gravity Field. Could go Rylai's on the Victor for another slow, so Phase Rush can get potentially a lot of value in just the top lane, but there's the Cripple from the Lee Sin, there's other slows around the map, so liking what Noguri is doing.
Ooh,
I'm buying what he's selling,
around
as Canyon might have to be buying a Q, but Elim not in range for that.
Yep. And Canyon not going to be able to evolve anything just yet. I thought he was buying a Q there, but I looked at level 5, not quite buying a Q just yet.
Nobody evolves their abilities in front of the enemy anymore. Now the old man Ambition is retired.
Yes, I know. If you had a look at my Twitter, I recently rewatched that game. Poor Ambition. The fact that Monty thought it was a bug first as well. He was like, wait, why was he just standing there and dying? But that's why you don't evolve in lane in front of your turret.
If you go back and watch, a lot of people want to go back with fond memories, things like Champions Spring 2013, like you're referencing. Players just weren't as good as they are now.
Yeah.
You forget it, right? Because you're like, okay, there was Flame and Insect and so many great things happened then. But the mechanical floor, i.e. the minimum requirement of how good you have to be at playing League of Legends, goes up every day, especially every year. And 5 years later, what was miraculous 5 years ago is now standard. And that's why when we really get excited, Atlas, that lets you know that even now, even with a game that's close to 10 years, end of next year, 10 years of League of Legends, we're still seeing unexplored interactions and the mechanical ceiling, not the mechanical floor, not the minimum, but the maximum increase, and that's a sign that League of Legends is a pretty cool game.
Yeah, and that's why we keep getting excited every single time we sit on the desk, because the plays are improving.
How many games of League of Legends
again.
have I cast? Like 500?
Yeah.
I still get stoked. I still
me
learn
too.
something. I still see something new.
I mean,
And that
Disdain
shows-
just beat Justice Punch. That was super cool.
Now we know that. Now that's I'm adding that to my wallet here of things I know. It's a pretty thick wallet at this point.
Oh, you got a thick wallet.
Unfortunately,
I've seen that wallet.
Unfortunately, I feel like I'm getting a bit older, so the maximum amount of things I know, I'm pushing it out. I'm going to forget someone's name very soon because it's being replaced.
Oh, I used to have, my brain used to be full of Pokemon knowledge. It's all gone now. I don't even know the base stats of a Gengar anymore, and he was first edition.
Will Haunter evolve into Gengar? Watch Golden Guardians to find out.
Would it be Gangster, though?
I don't know.
Because remember, it's not quite a Haunter, so I don't know. Haunter. That's probably the more Australian things that you can say.
I think we've gone over our contractually obligated amount of Pokemon talk.
Yeah,
so
okay, I take it
we need to shelve that one.
Yeah, let's find some.
Just like
some
they
other
want to
pop culture
shelve a
reference.
mage. Both teams very interested in shelving mages. Doran is being shadowed by Elim. Can they pull this off?
Well, Elim's going to get in there. Flash immediately used, actually, from Doran just to get himself out of the way of the potential Flash Taunt. Nicely done. He's going to be able to chip them down enough to avoid dying under the turret.
And they only have to use his flash and ult. They don't have to use anything on the side of Lee Sin. It was well thought out there, but Canyon's going in. They're using the Hero's Entrance.
Yeah, Hero's Entrance is going to come down. Going to get the knock-up as well, and Naguri's going to grab it. Cute little Q to come in from the side as the knock-up was in play.
And DAMWON Gaming reminding us that they can be ahead of the play, not like it was in game number 2. This time around, they can be ahead of the play. They do the problem solving up. Well, his flash is down. He can't walk up. Truly, he could not. Nice use of the ultimate here. By the time they get and see the Kha'Zix, they know they're in some strife. No ability to walk out. Well put together by DAMWON Gaming.
Yeah, another charge of the ultimate there as well to make sure that Elim wasn't able to get over the top as well. Everything coming up DAMWON in that one on the top side of the map. But here in the mid lane, that is 2 charges of the turret plating to be taken here by Plex. A lot of extra money now to come in from the Urgot, and he picked up a kill somewhere.
And do your math. 2 checkpoints is more than a kill's worth of gold. 320 gold rather than just 300 solo. Goes to the Urgots, getting 2 checkpoints in mid lane.
2 checkpoints and first blood is a lot of extra money.
Exactly. It's not a trivial thing. It means Black Cleaver is going to be done, what, 10 minutes? He probably has the gold now. Whenever he shops, he will be perilously close to that. That is what's happened. That's the opportunity cost of the early game. And let's talk about something we haven't seen in KeSPA Cup while we have a bit of a down moment here.
Yeah.
No mid lane smite. Because remember, in solo queue, Aatrox mid lane smite, very, very dominant. Other champions, Echo, for example, doing it as well. With the Monster Hunter debuff removed, there was the worry that, okay, turrets die slower, so you can go get jungle camps and be funneled like you were seeing in Europe and also in the LCK at the start of summer season. What we're seeing is, well, actually, the answering, no mid lane smite, and even in that scenario, the answer to the successful roam was getting even more gold, staying in the mid lane as the Urgot. So far working as intended, because that's why the Monster Hunter debuff was actually removed, because of things like turret checkpoints and how much the game might snowball with early gold.
Yeah. And right now, certainly seeing the example of that as the Black Cleaver, like you say, has been completed now by Plex. Huge trade going in favor of Nuclear on the bottom side of the map. Kamiushi going to be struggling in the trade department for quite some time on the Xayah.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like trades against Lucian. As speaking of trades, Canyon, Elim find each other.
Trading skill shots and both of them missing.
Well, I mean, I find when I try to trade with Lucian, I've lost 500 health and he has all of his. So
yeah, that's the
Is that a trade?
Some of those are better trades than others as well, although the outcome is about the same.
Some people bought Bitcoin at $20,000 US. They know how
that
trades
Black
can feel.
Shield was absolutely amazing coming in from Hoyt there.
They'll need it though. Bot lane vacated, top lane starting to be vacated as well, as this Ryze is winning even earlier than we outlined Atlas. Things going really well for DAMWON top and bot lane, and the mid lane death is not counting for too much. So KeG Seoul, they're up in gold because of the checkpoints being achieved in the mid lane, but they're kind of at a bit of a worry for vacating a lot of map presence around top and bot.
Well, Plex is just going to light the gargoyle on fire. That's his plan.
It's pretty alpha.
Yeah, I'd say so. Especially when he's made out of rocks.
If you're wondering, guys, he's cycling into his teleport now because he's worried about Galio Ultimate being available again. So wants to be able to follow with the Galio. it's not just a poking ignite like we saw from Reginald at level 1 on Annie so frequently 7 years ago.
Just to activate his mastery, Papa Smithy, is that what you're saying?
Well, back in the day, it was actually probably underused because you get what? 10 AD and AP?
5, I think.
5 AD and AP, and you do, you know, a bit of damage, and you showed who was the boss.
Exactly. It was the alpha move. That was the way to do it. That's
Reginald is
flexing your
many
muscles.
things, but no one ever deny he's the boss.
He was definitely the boss. And still, I think, is a TSM. So we're absolutely fine. Just saying the actual facts here. Of course, on the KeSPA Cup broadcast, Canyon's going to start off the second Mountain Drake of the game. It's going to play Gatekeeper on probably one of the oldest Morgana skins in the game. Do you remember what it's called?
Which one? I didn't actually see it. It might be...
The red one.
Oh, right, yes.
I can't remember the name.
I remember it being released because I bought it on release, sellout mode.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
The only one name I remember is Sinful Succulence Morgana, the
cookies.
baker one.
The cookies Morgana. That was my favorite.
But she burnt them.
She did.
On the splash, at least, she had burnt them. As we're watching the bot side here, again, DAMWON Gaming, because they have so much map control, that's why the Drake is taken. It's funny how, with how the Kha'Zix is, you can actually get away. As we'll see if the house has to be used here. Well,
he is going to use it pretty early. He's going to make sure that he stays alive. The Ignite ticking down there as Q's going to land max range here from Elim. With Plex having to use the teleport is the big payoff here for DAMWON.
But we've seen Kha'Zix's win falling behind by just queuing down the Drake and taking them fast. That's what we see from DAMWON here. You can evolve W second and just check brush with the lingering reveal that you get from the evolved spikes. You can have some utility in the kit as the Kha'Zix. And that's why Korean junglers have enjoyed that champion a lot, as Nuggery's going for this.
Yep, Flash is going to be used immediately by Dora, and he wants none of it.
Damn.
As the rotation to come up towards the top lane might mean that Nuguri's a little bit too far forward. Not going to happen though, as Dora misses out on all of the minions, most of the experience. Can Nuguri stay alive is the question. The ult is going to land here from Plex as now Elim finds his way forward, doesn't get the Q, and now Showmaker's going to have to flash to get out of the way, but that does mean that everyone survives on DAMWON's side.
Leading with the ultimate was very unlikely to arm, but it forces extra flashes because that means that Showmaker walked up too far. As Rai said, well, I can just walk out of this ultimate, I won't die. Unfortunately, they lose double summoner for that. No kills come in. The plating drops, so no extra gold coming to Nuclear. Bot side's going just fine for the side of DAMWON game.
Yeah, Kamiyoshi as well, just not even wanting to walk up to Nuclear under the tower. Which is very, very frightening, but he's staying within touching distance. 20 CS is not too bad given the amount of pressure that has been on this bottom side of the map by KeG. And finally, Pop is going to make his way back in. Thankfully, that binding is going to go wide if you're a fan of KeG Seoul's bottom lane. Very close to getting first item here on the side of the Xayah, but not quite there just yet. Elim coming down for a little bit of support.
Can KeG keep up with the current meta and actually get some control over objectives that right now have been vacated again and again by KeG? Farm-wise, they're in a very good spot, but already 2 Drakes in the hole. Now top-side advantage is going to lead to the Rift Herald as well. Around the action, DAMWON are winning everywhere, so in the mini-map, we're seeing a lot of wins for DAMWON, but on-screen, KeG have more often than not been out-trading them.
See whether they can have more of these pretty heroic trades when it comes to the team fights in the mid-game, but right now this is a very different situation to what DAMWON were facing in Game 1. It was much more even. However, 2,000 gold the lead is not too much, as Featherstorm has to be used to dodge a Dark Binding, which is probably one of the worst feelings that you can have as a Xayah.
Don't have any blue control wards, so Galio, this would be the perfect time to look for a turret dive, but for now, being forced to stay in lane. A lot more even between these two. Kind of as we expected with one item done, both of them can wave clear pretty safely, and right now kill pressure's not massive. Saw these two meet in the jungle before, but that was equal levels. Look at this, Canyon's 2 levels up from all the neutrals and experience he's been sapping all over the map.
Giant camp advantage, yeah. 30 CS in the lead, 35.
Elim's just a kick, and then he'll probably just die randomly to AoE from Galio, Rise, and the like, so has to be on point when they finally do conceptualize of a gank, and another 2-level lead on the top side. The neutral lead for DAMWON Gaming is so insane.
And Naguri's lead as far as trading against this Victor is looking also equally insane. Has himself his Archangels already built up. Looks like he's going to go for the double pen on the side of DAMWON's top laner.
It also looks like he's more interested in the 1v1 than the team fight. You would not expect double pen Rise, but we're seeing double pen Rise come out here. Not sure Showmaker and Nagurich changed names for this one, but
I actually wanted to keep the Oblivion Orb and just turn that Blasting Wand into a Void Staff as well. That's the big play.
I'm just saying, if Doran walks up, you'd be surprised how fast he dies.
Yeah.
Ryze is not really known for
Well, we
burst
saw that already
anymore.
before the Oblivion Orb even came in.
Season 1 Ryze was the burst Ryze. It turned into Machine Gun for dying over time. We're back to bursting. With an item build like this, I'm very excited for the first time we actually see them in Rune Prison range of each other. Nuclear takes down the bot lane turret, and these neutrals so fast, just the stacking there, and KeG are kind of at danger of watching this game slip away like you're a Nasus main with 0-10 solo lanes.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost already what they're feeling like, Papa. I know it's only 3,000 gold, but when the map control is this gigantic, KeG really need to start pulling themselves in for a potential team fight. And you can see a group up of 4 players here, leaving Gumayusi at the bottom side of the map just to try and clean up some farm.
Doran says, I want to fight for something. This lane sucks. Well,
yeah.
Here comes the attempt to fight. Their initiation's pretty small, Atlas. They need Alistar to do most of it. And Nuggery's going to keep pushing. Let's wait for the TP here. Infernal Drake started.
Yeah, Nuggery on the top side with teleport in his back pocket, like you say. So the Infernal Drake very, very low, but Kenyon's not going to be able to steal that one away. Headbutt Pulp comes in as the heal is not going to be quiet enough as he does burn down to the Ignite, but now in the fight, Nuguri's turned up and he's got so much damage. He gets to pick the person he wants to kill as he picks up the Lee Sin first off. Immediate cleanse to come in from Plex now as Doran trying to take down Nuguri, but you can see, oh my god, not able to do it. A double kill comes in for Gumayusi, and I don't even know how that happened.
DAMWON Gaming were out of position. They couldn't leverage Lucian and the Ryze. The Lucian dies super early into the piece, and because Canyon dived in, didn't get the steal, and was dead, the numbers advantage and the formation advantage was important. That's what you can do as a top laner when you're losing lane. Group for an objective and be in position first. Canyon out of the fight early, already done for. Watch Nuclear. He dashes in, and what a great play by Gumayusi. Flashes to get the redirect on the Blade Caller. Lucian stunned, Lucian dead. Nuclear dead, Canyon dead. There's only so much Nuguri can do. The raid boss is eliminated, and KeG, they make the team fight work.
And that was with Showmaker getting about a 3-man taunt, I believe, in the middle of that fight as well, but just unable to capitalize, like you say, because they just didn't quite have the formation available, and now they have to use a suboptimal Rift Herald that's not going to be charging immediately here. See whether KeG can get themselves into position to potentially lock this one up, as that flash reaction was phenomenal from Doran. But does mean that he can't help defend.
And the Rift Herald gets a charge, but they can't really return to that charge very swiftly. They're a short-range team. Gallo's going to be top lane. Lucian, not known for his sieging. Does everything well except for sieging, so it's an acceptable trade-off there for him. KeG trying to reclaim control around the soon-to-spawn Baron. Remember, they got the Infernal Drake, so they're 10% souped up. That means that with only a 300 gold disadvantage and some items coming together, things are looking pretty rosy for the team fight from KeG. Is, yep, that's having your wits around you. Never recall in the shop. Faker in the summer season, he would have gone down.
I didn't want to be the one to mention it. I didn't want to be the one to mention it, but yep, Doran not going to be window shopping this time around. And that reaction time certainly being put to the test and coming up pretty nicely as well, as Baron's going to be spawning in 3 seconds' time. Double Mountain Drake means that DAMWON need to be respected when it comes to the Baron damage, regardless of team composition. But with what they've got together, Blade of the Ruin King on the Lucian does mean that their Baron damage is going to be pretty strong regardless. KeG now protecting this mid lane, but this game is just certain, it's turned on a dime. 800 gold now the lead for DAMWON Gaming, but Gumayusi is now at the point where you're getting scared, ruler levels of scared, of this Xayah moving into the late stages of the game. Doran, yeah, you're still going to lose those trades, dude.
He did not need to walk up and take the free damage there. His job is much easier. He just needs to stay back and wait for his mid lane. Some ults are forced out here, and they do get that turret after we saw Victor chunked out. So a nice moment for DAMWON.
Yeah, not going to be able to find the Dark Binding there, but thankfully able to push them away from the turret and take down the outer in the mid lane.
All right, DAMWON Gaming. Again, you should be able to push up vision control. KeG, because Victor's on the bot side of the map, he can't check the Baron as easily. Victor has to waddle up. Sorry, not Victor. Urgot has to waddle up pretty close in order to check. So red side, we've always mentioned, it's a famous LS color point, but the red side always has a better ability to either sneak the Baron over the wall or to check the Baron over the wall. So that does mean that all KeG has to do is keep the control ward on the red buff that you see on their Raptor entrance, and if possible, directly behind the pit. And then the Baron should be tricky to take for the side of DAMWON Gaming. That's what KeG are focusing on for right now. They can't take down this mid lane turret, but they are turtling around the Baron pretty well.
Yeah, they're actually getting a lot of favorable vision here as well. And if you have a look at how the game has been going, they probably shouldn't be this easily moving towards the Baron pit unscathed and getting free vision. Plex might need to be careful as he disdains his way away from this top lane minion wave, understandably as well, as Showmaker was making his way up.
It's pretty hard for DAMWON Gaming to get enough control vision around both Baron and the enemy blue buff for Ryze to push up. Feels like they have right now. If you look at the mini-map, they do know around Baron, even if they haven't cleared out the enemy control wall, they are being able to steal red. But this could turn on a dime. These vision battles can turn so fast. Right now, Ryze is strong enough to walk up and out-trade the Victor, but eventually, something's going to have to drop. The pin will have to drop, and vision will have to drop somewhere. But now at least Noguri can continue to extend his laning phase advantage, closing in on a flame horizon before the 30-minute mark.
Well, that's what he generally does here on this Ryze, especially when he's playing on the top side of the map. And this time on the bottom, but same thing is going to apply, just split pushing over and over again on this Ryze. Canyon pretty easily going to be able to take down the third Drake here for DAMWON. Does mean that KeG can move up and get themselves vision around this Baron yet again. And I'm looking at the mid lane and AD for KeG. Can Gumayusi and Plex get themselves into positions to use the advantage that they're able to pick up? And it looks like two quick turrets might say yes to that particular option.
It's standing gold. That's pretty easy to obtain from the full reset from DAMWON. Basically the extra variable, the reason why that's a safe time to push up, it's not just, well, the enemies aren't in lane anymore, it's, well, none of them have control wards when I press tab. That means they have to go back at the control wards, because we know DAMWON want Ryze to outpush Victor and then to take the Baron on the other side of the map. You know you need control wards for that. Resets are pretty predictable because you have to have that cadence of, I put down my control ward, deleted their vision, now I know they're going to recall. Eventually we're going to have to recall when our vision is cleared. It's the seesaw that vision battles go through. And with all that thrown in, KeG get a bit more global gold, keep the game at just 1,000 gold lead here for the side of DAMWON. And again, we have to inspect these Baron setups because those are the really big things that DAMWON need to nail. And it was Baron steals, not Baron setups, that got them that steal win against Breon Blade, game one of the last series. And KeG say, well, I don't see any vision. I'm just going to stop Baron.
Yeah, they're just going to do it. Teleport is available here from Noguri, but he's taken down the inner turret already. Half the health bar on this Baron has already been taken down as finally the jig is up, but it's down to about 7,000 health. Headbutt is going to get Canyon out of there to begin with, as there's the turn that you were talking about. Showmaker causing a ruckus in the backline as Elim has to go into his stopwatch. Oh my god, the culling just eating through the members of KeG. Noguri on the back end gets himself the shield, and Plex has to go now into his stopwatch. That's the kill, the first one from Noguri onto his lane opponent. And Doran's going to mount. Elim does the same thing. KeG are in the dust as the Baron is more of a leash for DAMWON than anything else.
For once, DAMWON are able to punish around the Baron. KeG got very low, and because the Baron was at 3,000 health, they could keep it leashed and keep this going and get both objectives. We're going to watch the replay here. Alst has his ult very early, and watch Lee Sin. Elim goes for the insect play. He's happy to hit Canyon on nuclear, but he focuses and tunnels on nuclear at the perfect timing. The Black Shield comes in, no value out of the Lee Sin. Urgot's tanky health bar, again, he's tanking Baron, he's in the mid-fight here, and because the Baron stays leashed, they get the kills, they get the objective. That's finally the time that DAMWON can open up a meaningful lead over KeG Seoul.
Yeah, it feels like it's once again back to that 4,000 gold lead, now about 5,000 for DAMWON Gaming, so getting themselves back after what was a pretty horror team fight earlier on in the game, and now with the Baron buff as the reward, that lead is only going to continue to grow.
Now the wave clear gets tricky. They desire to push up. No Infinity Edge yet. Quite a long way away. It'll be 25 gold from just the pickaxe that's been completed so far. So could even just be a Mercurial Scimitar and skipping over the Infinity Edge for now. And they need IE to take out someone like the Ryze and the Galio on the front line. Speaking of Ryze, he was doing a pretty good split push before. Now he's got Baron and a 3-level lead, if you don't mind, over Doran. Close to that 1,000 gold bounty on the Ryze.
Yeah, just terrifying stuff coming in here.
He has 3 levels over both solo lanes. This never happens.
Well, he's been farming all of the solo lanes available. It's just been a ridiculous amount of farm just being funneled into the Ryze over and over again, and you can see by how immovable he is why that's been happening as KeG move their way up. There's 2 siege minions though. This turret taking almost too much damage just from this push alone. Elim trying to pick up the aggro onto that turret, and Gumyusi left on his own. He cannot defend this. Blade Caller is going to snare up Nuclear, but he just doesn't care.
Need to have outnumber members to deal with the Rise Pip push, so predictably in the mid lane.
Yeah.
As easy as you like for Nuclear.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give, and it's been a lot of things. It's been just a laundry list, Atlas, of things that were given because of a vision lead and then because of the Rise's strength as the game goes on. Couldn't afford to lose that Baron fight. They lose it. The sins of the early game compound what seems like now an unwinnable scenario as 2 inhibitors go down.
Yeah, Nuclear just going to cull them to send a message. Dashes his way through, picking up the minions, and like you say, 2 inhibitors to go down. Last remaining on the bottom side, but see whether DAMWON are even going to waste that time as they got 50 seconds on this Baron buff left remaining. Going to go back, grab another buy. I believe that might be Essence Reaver to come in as our 3rd item for Nuclear. It's one of my favorites.
More Lucians are working it into the build. I think a lot of them were skipping it for other options previously.
Yeah, I feel like it's you go Zeal item and then Infinity Edge or something like that for more late game damage. But
there's
I like
so
this.
much value in roller skating around with your E in this game as the Lucian, so having no cooldown on that basically with the interaction after you use
ultimate.
Ultimate.
That 2014 Worlds Lucian?
Exactly, the Uzi Lucian that got them to Worlds.
Yeah.
You're against Victor, Lee Sin, got a lot of annoying short-range threats that the extra mobility is very, very important. Again, my eyes are drawn to Death Cap on the Rise. He has the 1,000 gold, which, you know, is the maximum bounty. You know, if he dies at this point, the next bounty might be pretty high as well, because that gold does transfer to your second bounty. You can never go above 1,000 gold, but when it's back-to-back 1,000 gold bounties, you know you're having quite the game. Nogari making everyone else look mortal on both sides, his team and the enemy. And now DAMWON Gaming just throw everyone into the bot lane and say, let's get this one down and force a game number 3.
And that Flame Horizon has just been achieved here as well by the Rise. So there's the dash forward from Nuclear, and Doran takes the entire culling. Safeguard has to be used from Elim, but now it's back to the base for the Victor. Top lane's getting shoved in by Canyon of all people, as now Hoyt just fishing for binds one after the other. Quick double tap on the turret, and Nuclear has to decide whether or not he wants to go against Gumyusi. It looks like that is still a bad idea. He's getting free damage. KeG, it's getting scary.
Smart for Kha'Zix to be the one in the top lane here. Doesn't really offer much to Siege. The evolved spikes are nice, but you don't need the reveal. You can already see them there. Not a lot of poke damage. Just wanting to get as much pressure everywhere. You already mentioned it in our first game, but minions move so fast. Around 30-minute time, 100 extra MS.
Oh,
in the bot
no,
lane, they're trying something.
Yeah, has to use his Featherstorm very, very early. Nogari's just more than happy to soak whatever damage does come in. Blade Caller not going to be enough to do anything, and the last remaining inhibitor will go down. Super minions now just conga lining towards the Nexus. Only 2 turrets remain on the side of KeG Seoul.
Don't walk up, Atlas. You will lose anyway to all the chip damage. They try something, it doesn't work. The inhibitor goes down, and now KeG can full recall. Much shorter respawn timers, remember, for things like Baron and Dragon on this patch. A minute shaved off of those 2, and then the Elder Dragon, 2 minutes shaved off of that one. So Baron spawns in 40 seconds. There is no respite on patch 824B.
Well, the next Dragon will be another Cloud, so DAMWON going to be moving even faster around, and we should be getting ourselves towards the Elder Drake relatively quickly after that as well, like you say. 6 minutes on the Elder Drake, 6 minutes on Baron, 5 minutes on the regular Dragons. Means things do just feel like they're a little bit faster. Like the game has been sped up just in general, with the minions moving faster as well.
There was the half-note button of the stacking Elder Dragon after the 94-minute game, and this was absolutely the death knell of the Ultra Stall. That was a very possible tactic with things like Azir and Sivir in the past. If you missed that, you know, you got an extra hour and a half of your life there, so good luck on that one.
Yep.
Gaming chasing.
Actually, yeah, looking for more. Finds himself the double tap on the Proto Belt. That feels good. Dash cannoning people to send a message.
Baron has started here so hard for KeG to do anything, and of course the minions will swarm in their base soon. Look how fast the Baron dies.
So fast, just 2 people, Nogari being one of them is certainly understandable as to why it went down so incredibly fast. Okay, that was a teleport coming from Doran. He's not trusting the fact that he was able to get out of the way as Hoyt finds the Dark Binding, but getting through the base gate was important there from Flex as the ultimate channels out and gets himself the flash. out of the Urgot.
Kind of thrown out, though, because the Flash was always going to be pretty defensive under the turrets. Not sure by using the ultimate there from the Morgana, but it's pretty much going to be turret defense now, Atlas.
Oh my goodness, the culling doing a lot of work there onto Pop, but just fishing for as much damage as possible. These turrets aren't going to last very long as the first one does go down. The second one hanging on by a thread now as Plex trying to get through the minions, but straight up can't do it. Another flash to try and get the kick, but the Black Shield once again is perfect. The resets from the Kazakhs, and see you later, Nexus. We're going to game 3 as DAMWON answer back.
Those Black Shields were troll-faced tier from Hoyt in this game. Twice stuffing up the insect play coming through from SKTT1 trainee Elim in the jungle for KeG. No reaction from DAMWON Gaming. They knew that a clean 2-0 was what their management would have wanted today, but we're going to get a bit of an early Christmas present. We're going to get 3 games between DAMWON and KeG before we get into our SKT versus BBQ series later. This was very much DAMWON playing New Age League of Legends. They were so aggressive and assertive around neutrals. We saw a 2-level lead in the jungle, a 3-level lead by the end in the top lane over both solo lanes. That just means experience was lost on the side of KeG. That was wholly being claimed with 2 hands by the Rise, being played by Noguri. What a great game from Noguri. After a very indifferent promotion tournament, Noguri has been the best player in the KeSPA Cup so far. His consistency has been fantastic, and that means a game number 3 is required to see if DAMWON Gaming will go forward to face the winner of our second series.
Yeah, Noguri was a bit of a passenger in game number 1 as well. It's sort of been top lane performance after top lane performances. Doran in game 1 was fantastic. Now it's Noguri's turn to be absolutely brilliant. Whose turn is it going to be in game 3 is now the question as we go to a commercial break. We'll see you for game 3 after.